Let's go to Illinois next, our next caller. Kent, thank you for calling.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
I have a question concerning replacement females.
Okay.
They're always either in body score 8 or 10. These producers will tell you that fat sells, but they're not the kind of animal that really, when you take them home, either they don't breed or you've got those type of problems. What can the show ring judge or these cattle producers do to make show heifers not so fat but still win?
Well, that's another great question here. We're going to really put this panel to the test here. Okay.
We talked about this a little earlier, and there is a little bit of a practicality issue when you're showing cattle, to be real honest about it. And I don't think that's a question that I can answer, because that's been an age-old problem. Would you agree? I mean, that's not something that because of something I say today, anything's going to change. Fat does sell, and fat wins in the show ring. And I couldn't agree with the caller more that sometimes it loses its practicality as far as getting heifers that will breed, and if they do, when they calve, they don't milk as good. And I've griped about it as much as anyone, because I've come from some pretty common sense roots.
Well, you're in that country, you know.
Right, but we show too, so it
Sure.
makes you some degree of a hypocrite, so to speak, because if I go in the ring with a heifer that I think's in perfect breeding shape, she's probably not going to have enough condition on her to win. That's the brutal truth of the matter. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I'm really answering his question, but it's just reality as it stands in front of us, I think.
And I think, personally, I think a little bit we've backed off the fat on the breeding heifer side a little bit the last few years. Or maybe it's because my son's showing now and I'm more in tune to it. I want our heifers to breed and milk, and so I try to hold them back. And then the full control product from anyone's showing side, if you want to keep heifers full and have a lot of volume, that product will really work without getting that added udder fat and added brisket fat. And so, I mean, I think, at least personally, and I think a lot of people have tried to back the heifer thing off a little bit as far as being so extremely fat.
But I guess from his standpoint, I mean, I take it that the caller is maybe in the business of selling cattle. And, you know, it's a catch-22. I mean, you can go to these sales and you see that the higher dollar ones are those that maybe are in excess, but we've all taken them home and the darn things just don't milk as well, maybe experience some dystocia at calving. And just from the judge's standpoint, I'm going to go back to our previous call. It all is going to have to rely on the subjectivity of it. Mm-hmm. And whenever any of us would step in the ring, we have to make the decision that day on cleanliness of composition.
Very good.